Alright. Well, I'm waiting for my coffee. I'll bring up a couple of people. Also, if I suddenly leave the QNA, it's because my power went out, so if that happens, you can just stay. He'll be back pretty soon after that. Anyways, I'll bring up Karate Bro 2008 first. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
I was wondering when Redguard's gonna get their new morphs.
So first of all, the Q&A is supposed to be about factions, but in terms of morphs, I'm not entirely sure. We'll probably do morph updates either this next weekend or the one after.
Okay, that was it.
Alright, sure. Alright, Creature of Hell 26. Hello?
Hey.
Hi.
So you spoke a while back about faction-wide weapons.
Yeah?
So when will that be released, and how will it work?
So, faction weapons, basically, if you're a faction manager, so that means if you're either the owner or someone that have been given permission by the owner to rent weapons for the faction, you'll be able to use either faction credits. Basically, faction credits are basically just the in-game credits, but it has to be in the faction bank, so you can donate to the faction bank if you're a member or owner. And then you can spend the faction currency on renting weapons for 24 hours at a time. And then if you rent the weapon, then everyone in your faction will be getting the weapon. And you can also spend Robux on renting weapons if you want to. That's optional.
Yeah. Alright, thanks.
No worries.
So,
Code Gaming with Ninja.
Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Okay, so I've got two questions. When's Riot Company gonna get their shield? Because, like, we've been waiting for months.
Shield? I'm not entirely able to give you an estimate on that, unfortunately.
Alright, and then the other question is, when can you read, what's it called? Star Program apps?
I usually I read those applications usually once a month. I've already read them this month, so I'll be reading probably again next month.
Oh, well, okay, then I failed, I don't know.
No, I mean, maybe if you, depends on when you applied, obviously. If you applied really early, then you probably have failed, yeah.
Oh, well,
But if you
it was like the 7th of this month, so...
Okay, well then I haven't read yours yet, so... Because I read them really early this month.
Because you accept TikTok, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Alright, yeah. Alright, battle tactic.
YOLO.
Hello.
How much is the factions gonna be if you wanna create one?
70,000 credits in game.
70,000?
Yeah.
Alright. And when is RC gonna get perks?
Whenever we develop perks for RC.
Alright.
There's still a lot of divisions that don't have perks yet. Anything else?
No thanks.
Alright. I am Tool Jake.
Yes, hello. I have two questions.
Yeah.
When is 187 getting perks?
Bro, it's same answer as for the other divisions. We will develop divisional perks when we develop them.
Okay, and the ships update, when is it coming out? Since it's already on the game's name and on the page.
The ship is in game if you look up.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Alright. Let's see. Dakit. Hello.
Yeah. Will
Yep.
like unofficial servers be allowed for factions?
You mean having their own server so they can be in?
Yeah, like unofficial patrols and stuff like that.
In their own dedicated server, you mean?
Yeah. I don't know if you'll remember this, but a faction called Special Forces Association.
No.
No, it was basically this one of the HQ bandit for because it was raiding. So will that like be allowed, like organized raids and that? Would that not be punishable?
Oh, well, I think we haven't completely worked out that side of the system yet. Because right now we obviously still have to do all the core features of the faction first. But I definitely think that if there's interest for it, we can look for ways to allow factions to host the raids and also have their own servers. Like if you want to have faction wars, for example, you can create a server and invite faction members and stuff like that. You can probably look for things like that later on.
So are like previous unofficial groups going to be like unbanned as part of the faction update?
Any previous groups that could be looked at, like a faction or clan or whatever, they'll have to create their own faction in game. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Field beef.
Yeah.
Yo.
How many members and/or officers will the factions be allowed to have?
I think we're starting out with I think we were doing 20 on launch.
All right.
Yeah, you start with 20 for free after you buy your faction, and then you can pay Robux to increase.
All right.
And when you're upgrading your faction, it's going to be about 80 Robux per head. So if you want to have plus 5 members in your faction, you need to pay 400 for it.
Also, when are you announcing the Santa event winners?
We'll be doing that next week, most likely. Yep. Alright, let's see. Jack Skywalker. Yo.
So, two questions. One is the faction system gonna be tied more to the raider thing, like raiders, or like are GAR members gonna be in factions too? For example, if you're in GAR and you don't have a raider pass, is there any use for being in a faction? Are factions unrelated to GAR or raiding their own thing? How's that gonna work?
Yeah, so guard members will also be able to be in factions. We'll have to find out exactly how we're gonna handle it, but we might just allow players to go off duty if they're in a faction or something like that.
So, but like, let's say someone is in a faction and the faction owner rented a gun for everyone. Do they get that gun in every morph? So like if I'm in my GAR or divisional morph and my faction rented a gun for me, am I able to use that gun?
So right now that's not gonna be part of the system, but we might expand. As you know, the system is still very young, so there's still a lot of things that need to be thought out and done. But in specifically that regard, if you're in a division and a faction, you won't be getting the faction stuff. I don't think. It depends on exactly how Rainy is setting it up as well. But ultimately, factions are right now mostly gonna be for immigrants, and then later on we'll expand so that it's also encompassing members of GAR and divisions.
Okay. Yeah, that could also use some conversation with the HighCom about some rules, like divisions that have rules about not being raider groups, rules
Yeah, definitely.
about unofficial raider groups and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to have a discussion with staff and HighCom first and figure out. That's why we haven't worked too much on that yet, because we'd rather do the basic features first and then expand later.
And the second question is anyone gonna be able to be in more than a faction at once?
No, you can only be in one faction at a time.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
Alright, see ya. Alright, let's see. Weird Osiris. Alright.
So basically, are there gonna be like monthly payments or anything?
What do you mean?
For the factions?
Like players have to pay monthly? Or you mean you need to pay monthly? Like, you mean faction members need to pay to their faction monthly?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, no. And there's no fee for owning the faction either. It's a one-time purchase. And then, yeah. And if a faction wants to have like a membership fee, then they will have to sort that out internally.
Yeah, that was my only question. Thank you.
Alright, yeah. Okay, record.
I've got 4 questions about factions.
Yeah.
First one being, what is the member cap? Like, how many people can you have at max in a faction?
Yeah, so there's no member cap, but there's a wallet cap, because if you're getting to like ridiculous numbers of members, then we're gonna start charging you ridiculous amounts of money for increasing it.
I see. What is the process of getting your faction appraised? Yeah, it mentioned something about that in the. Give me a quick second. Yeah, Discord channel for recruiting faction members. You'll need to be vetted by staff before getting access.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a group for GAR where factions can ally to it, and if you're allied to the group, then you'll be considered a let's say verified, blue check mark faction. You'll be considered verified, which means you'll have access to advertising in Discord. And the process of getting to there is just an application and an interview as well.
I see. Is there a limit on how many factions can be in a server at a time, or can everyone technically be in a different faction in the server?
Technically, everyone can be in a different faction, yeah.
Alright, and last one being, what is the rank structure for factions, if there's going to be ranks, per se, apart from...
Kind of like group ranks on Roblox. Yeah.
Alright, and you can assign perms with these ranks, I'm guessing, as well?
Yeah, I can select, if you want them to be able to use funds or kick members or change the script, whatever. Like every action you can take on the faction, except for deleting it, you'll be able to put that as a permission.
Alright, cool. Yeah, that's all that I had.
Alright. See you, man. Alright. Sir Bunky. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
So I have a question about the code for joining a faction. How will that be assigned, or will it be like an automatic code for it?
You just generate a code and give it to someone. They enter it, and if you after they join with the code, they'll be on the pending member list, and then you'll accept them from that list.
All right. And will faction members have like wages, perhaps like credit wages? Like the faction leader will be able to like give credits to other faction members? Because you mentioned something about jobs in the future.
Oh well, right now there's no way for factions to give money to its members. It's the only thing that's possible right now is for members to give money to the faction into the bank. But we might open for things where you can give out credits to other people as well.
Yeah. Will there be like an in-game tag for the faction name, like how Star Creators and like the Republic Journal have when you hover their mouse over a person? Will there be one for like the factions?
Yeah, you'll have your faction tag on your rank tag.
Okay, all right, that's cool. That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Okay, but okay, squeeze.
Hello.
Hello.
I had a few questions. Firstly, is there gonna be any outpost like in TSU City for factions?
Oh, well, we haven't built any as of right now, but as we continue to develop the feature, then yeah, we might be able to add headquarters like that.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. I had a new question as well. Would RI or icons be able to disband groups in case they do like some shit?
Yeah, we'll definitely add a way for you to shut down factions, yeah.
Alright, well, that's everything from me. Have a nice day.
Goodbye. Alright. Okay, C1. I'm your boy.
All right, I just have like one question. I think. All right, so when when the new map comes out, will you guys be able to place like houses all across the map and have like a little real estate system where factions can buy these, kind of like just we said as little headquarters? It'd be like a little tab you bring up on the right side of your screen, and if you have enough credits, you can buy this little outpost. You know, make it a faction house.
Well, we're gonna do faction outposts before the new map even. So.
All right,
Even in
that's
the
all I had.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. Someone I didn't bring up yet. Okay. Star Wars XXB. Yo. Okay, I'm gonna dismiss you then if you're not gonna get on up. Killer Lincoln 12. Yo.
Right. I just have one question. Will there ever be a free-to-play jetpack so people who don't pay Robux can fly around?
Not a free-to-pay jetpack, but there will be a free-to-pay and free-to-play jump pack for the 7th Sky Corps.
Okay. That's my only one.
Okay, but anyways, Ash, I'll bring up someone else. Candy William.
Hello.
Hi.
So I do have a few questions. Like, do you have like an estimated release date for this said event, said update?
Faction update, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna come out today.
Do you have an estimated like time frame?
Oh, well, it should be around in about like about 3 hours or so from now.
Okay, so about 6 o'clock EST. So, what's one more thing? So I was like hearing some other questions, and like you could add like a specialized ranks, like to the thing.
What do you mean specialized?
So like you said that you can have like special ranks in the group instead of just saying officer. It could be like friends of the officer or something, like instead of officer, right?
Well, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to get at, but there will be ranks in the faction, and you can make them special if you want to. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then there will be a custom like channel you can post stuff in.
Yeah. If you're a verified faction owner, then you will be able to post stuff in faction recruitment channels at least.
Okay. And so will there be a cap to how many people will have like the verified thing?
There's not necessarily going to be any cap set by us, but there's probably going to be a cap in terms of, because obviously, let's say you are an E1 and you've played this game for, that's just a couple of days, and you decide to create a faction, and obviously you're not going to be trusted with verified.
Yeah.
So there's probably going to be like an actual cap in terms of how many people are actually eligible, but there's no set cap on our side.
I think that's everything. Thank you.
All right. DTB pig.
Yo. Is there gonna be any way
believe
to buy like
you
a
are
Roblox
muted, sir.
faction? What? Is there gonna be
I'm
like
gonna
a way?
move you down then. Toby Kid Boy.
Will there be any like, custom rule for the faction in Discord, or is it only just in game?
For right now, it's only gonna be in game.
Alright.
Yeah. Alex Ovid 12.
Hi.
Hi.
When is it like? When can you have factions?
In about 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Thanks.
Okay, bye. Let's see. Okay, hermanos. Hi. Hello? I think your mic is dead. Okay, I'm gonna move you down right now, and you can come up later if you fix your mic. Also, for those of you that don't feel like speaking in front of a bunch of people, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions in chat as well after I'm done with voice questions. So we're gonna do this type of questioning for about 5 more minutes, and then I'll let you guys ask questions in chat, and I'll answer them live on here. I'll bring up Amazing Tintin. Hello?
Yeah, so you know Empire of the Viking Law, the one that you speak Emperor of.
Yes.
Yeah, so like for the faction, would there be a tryout? But like if there is, would you add like a video to it? So you know like HRV and KOF have how their Dutchies have videos in the tryouts. Will you ever add those?
We might. We'll see. I'm not sure right now. It's a bit too early to tell.
Yeah, it's because I'm a lieutenant of Normandy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay. See ya. Ricky Marui. Ricky Marui. Join up.
So, with regards to factions, how does the naming process go? Like, can it be anything, or like, can you make it like GAR related, like your division and stuff, or does it have to like strictly be non-GAR related?
So, yeah, you cannot use factions to create anything that will can be deemed an official representative of GAR. So, for example, you cannot call it like Seventh Sky Corps, or you cannot call it the Red Guard or something like that. So, like, you cannot steal divisional names, and you cannot use it to create subcategories of existing divisions. But other than that, it's free reign.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, let's see. I'm not gonna. If you don't have any roles, I'm sorry, but I will not be bringing you up because 9 times out of 10 it's troll. So okay, we'll bring up Lev.
Hello. Okay, this is related to the question before. If the if it's like, let's say, an already existing Star Wars division, but it's not actually in GAR, would we be allowed to name it something like that?
So you could, in theory, do that because it's not an official representative of GAR. But the flip side, or the downside, I suppose, of that is if we ever decide to add that faction, you'll have to rename your faction. Like if we ever decide to add the division, sorry, you'll have to rename.
Alright. Also another question. Is there a maximum amount of roles that you can have in a faction?
Yeah, there will be a set maximum. Probably about 15 or so.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah. Alright. Mel's cool guy.
Hello. Okay,
Hello.
so can we recruit people through a division or department, like as like a little group, an in-game group type thing, or is that not allowed?
Yeah, so when it comes to recruitment, the only thing that won't be allowed is DM advertising, because that could be a bit privacy invading. But if you're recruiting from your own division or from other divisions, like, it doesn't matter. Like, normal advertising rules do not apply because you're recruiting for something in game. So if you recruit people from divisions or whatever, it doesn't matter. You can do that.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. I am too Jake. I think I already brought you up once, but Hello?
Yeah. I have another question.
Yeah.
So like, are there gonna be clan wars against factions? So faction wars. You can.
Yeah, I did answer this a bit earlier, but in the future we might make a way where you can have your own little faction wars in private servers in game.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Bye. Alright. I'm gonna bring up. Also, yeah, I got some rules for faction names now. So, faction names must be alphanumerical, but can also contain a single space. They must be between 3 and 20 characters. Descriptions, so I mean faction descriptions, must be between 4 and 255 characters. And then, of course, faction names, descriptions, and emblems must all follow Roblox's terms of service. So you cannot reference hate groups or contain racist terminology. That's obviously very obvious. But yeah, I got that list from Rainy, so now you know that. I'm gonna bring up one or two more to talk, and then I'll move on to chat questions. Alright, Elite Soldier 501. Hold on, I accidentally muted you. There, hello?
Hello.
Hi.
So, can you share game passes and like clans and stuff, or you just?
No, you cannot share your own game passes. That's not possible.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Yeah. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, we're gonna move up one more for questioning, and then I'm gonna take it to chat so that the rest of you may answer as well. Let's see, who shall we end with? Okay, Darks5656, we'll end with you. Hello.
Can you make a Discord server and organize mass raids to murder a lot of clones in one server?
So you mean with your faction, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to have like a Discord server for your faction, you're absolutely free to do so. You can even advertise the channel. The only rule is that if you're going to advertise your server in our server, that means that at least one member of HighCom will have to have admin access to your server and access to view everything, every log, everything. And then you need to follow Roblox's terms of service in your Discord server. And if you meet those requirements, then you will be able to advertise your server and be endorsed. So you will have, you can use that for whatever, if you want to organize raids and all that stuff. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna move on to some chat questions now. I'm gonna add slow mode in public. It's gonna be 1 minute. You can ping me in the server now or in the channel and ask your questions, and I'll read it out loud and answer it. How will you guys deal with exploiters similar to MS's Mafia system? So first of all, in MS you can join any faction with a code, but in this one you'll have to request to join, which means it's going to be the responsibility of factions owners to ensure that exploiters don't join their faction and abuse that. And if they fail to do so repeatedly, then we will unfortunately shut down their faction. Will you be able to have permanent guns like in TGE instead of having to buy? Okay, no, there will be no opportunities to get permanent guns for your faction. You'll need to rent them. Max amount of people in one faction, there's going to be no limit. A capture point that factions can fight over and they get some sort of points. Yeah, so we might expand into that venue later on, but right now it's not going to be a part of the system. Can you be in multiple factions? No, you can only be in one at a time. What is a faction basically? Well, a faction would be a coalition, I suppose, of people. it's just a faction. I mean, you create a faction, people can join, and you share a common objective. You can buy guns and raid or whatever else you want to do. Can you earn any credits from the faction? Not right now, but we might make it possible later. Can we name it after company squads? No. What is the starting member cap for the factions 20? What will the rank structure be like in factions? That's going to be up to the faction managers. Will the rule of GAR related Discord servers not be active for factions? Yes, it will be. Can factions have a custom banner? They can have a custom emblem. Will there be faction perks? No. Will faction managers be able to broadcast messages to all of their in-game faction members? There's no system for that yet, but you can always use Discord for that. Can you add icons to your faction? Yeah, you can have emblems. Is there going to be a permanent weapon I can buy for credits in my faction? No. You need to buy it, you need to rent it, either with credits or Robux. Will there be faction perks like for the most active divisions? Maybe we will work on that later, but there's not going to be any of that now. How many people can you invite to a faction without Robux? 10 people. Yeah, also I needed to correct myself. The starting member cap. So the starting amount of members you can have in your faction for free is 10, not 20. And I will also add that the penned to join system is not done right now. It'll be releasing on the next faction patch, most likely. Let's see. Will divisionals be allowed to run groups if they are in 187th, etc., since they don't allow raider groups usually? So this is still a concern that we need to discuss with HiCom, but we will come to a decision pretty soon, and then you'll be informed. Alright, sorry, let's see, next question. Following faction hideouts, would factions have some sort of vault or bank in the future where you can raid the credits of an enemy faction that they have earned through donations and outpost capture? Okay, so raiding another faction's bank is not going to be a thing. Because I think that would be a bit ridiculous, but raiding other factions' headquarters in the future, that might be a thing, yeah. How many leaders will there able to be in a faction? There's no set cap on that, but there can only be one faction owner. Will the factions be like a subdivision? No. Can you earn medals in your faction? Well, in theory, if the faction sets up medals in their Discord server, then sure, you can do that. What are the guns we can buy? Okay, so a list of that will be provided. You'll be able to see on launch. Can we have a Roblox group for the factions? Yeah, of course. If you want to create a Roblox group for it, I do actually advise would-be faction owners to create a group, because so you'll be able to. You need a group if you want to be a verified faction, because you need to ally to the GAR faction group. And once you're allied, then you'll be considered a verified faction, and you'll be given a faction owner role in the Discord server. How much will it cost to make the member count larger? So, at least if your faction is small, it's gonna cost you 80 Robux per head, so per member, new member, and you'll have to pay for 5 at a time. So it's gonna be 400 for 5 new people. And the price will scale as well, depending on how big your faction is. Is there going to be a faction leaderboard for how many people are in the faction? So you mean a leaderboard of the largest factions in game? I mean, we could probably work on that at some point, but it's not going to be out today. Can you ban people from factions? There's no point in doing that. You can just kick them. Will there be faction-related competitions? Probably yes. Can the ownership of a faction be transferred to another player? No, that's not possible. Can you get banned for team killing your own faction members? No. Will the faction purchase be permanent? Yes, unless you get banned. Yeah, so I think I've pretty much answered everything there is to answer. Or anything that's at least worthwhile answering. If there's any other urgent questions you think you have, you can DM me and I will respond if I see it and if I think it's worthwhile responding to. Other than that, I suggest you just wait for the launch. It should be in like 2 to 4 hours. It kind of depends. And yeah, I thank you guys for attending the Q&A. On launch, you should keep in mind that the system is still going to be very early, so a lot of things might be subject to change, and we will add a lot more content to it as we go on. But other than that, look forward to the update, and I'll see all of you in game, I hope, on launch. I'll be there, of course. I'll be doing some giveaways and all that, so we'll talk then. DM me if there's anything urgent, and yeah, goodbye.